Welcome back, everyone, to Courageous Leadership with Virginia Prodan. I'm Virginia Prodan, the host of Courageous Leadership with Virginia Prodan. We are so delighted to have you here. We get comments and questions for help in many, many ways. And we are so grateful for each one of you who are contacted us every single day. We are grateful for those of you who are supporting us, those who are subscribing to our podcast or to our YouTube channel. All the links are below. So we are grateful for each one of you. For those of you who are new, I'm Virginia Prodan, the host of Courageous Leadership with Virginia Prodan. I'm the author of the book Saving My Assassin. You can buy the book at virginiaprodanbooks.com/product/book. The book was published by Tyndale House Publisher, and it's my memoir, my life in communist Romania, fighting for freedom, faith, and families, and my life in America, as I am an attorney with Alliance Defender Freedom. I try to share with you ideas, things that I know work in my life as God guided me in my fight for freedom, for faith, and for family values. And I would love to encourage you even more. Um, we all live in a society, in a time where um, our culture changes faster than we ever imagine, and in a worst possible way. 30 something years ago, when I came from socialist communist Romania to America, to freedom, I never imagined that America will get to the point that is today. And for that reason, I am in fire to expose what the liberal and the liberal government is doing to try to submit us to government power and transform us into puppets and to take away our freedom. It's our time to stand up for what is right, as we see that many Christians are under pressure. Some of them, they are losing their job or their business. Many of them are threatened to lose their job, and the list goes on and on. Our children at school or college are persecuted for being Christians, and like I said, the list can go on and on. And for that reason, it's very important for us to be encouraged, and I love to respond to your questions and to share with you what's the best way to discover what the communist, the liberal government in America is doing, because in many ways they are copying the socialist and communist agenda. And many people in America who never experienced socialist or communist, they are not aware of, they cannot imagine that the government will fight against them. We live for such a long period of time in America where the government worked for us and not against us. But things are changing, and now the government is fight against us and wants to subdue us. So it's very important for us to stand up for freedom and to remain faithful to God, because our life is in God's hands, and God is ready to invite us to be co-workers with Him to preserve freedom, faith, and family values. I know God has done this in my life. He used me as a tool in His hands to change Romania from a socialist country to a communist country. Even though I was under persecution, was tortured, placed under house arrest, arrested daily. Our dictator sent one of his guards in plain clothes um, to kill me in my office. This is why the reason the book is called Saving My Assassin. He came to my office to assassinate me, but by the grace of God, I shared the gospel with him, and the story doesn't end there. I hope you read the book Saving My Assassin, and you will be encouraged that God, who used me as a tool in his hands, wants to use you in his hands too. And I want to talk with you about living under those circumstances that are not very easy. There are in many ways frightening. They are in many ways overwhelming circumstances, but living under those circumstances faithfully, not only now under those circumstances, but with intention of nourishing the future. Yes, we can live faithfully now, and our life can nourish the future for us and for generations to come. So, on this subject, nourishing the future by faith, under those horrible circumstances, I want to reach with you 3 points that you can look in your life, 3 call to actions that you can take notes right now, and you can think about them as I am talking with you, but you can also take them and think individually on each one of them um, as you listen again to this podcast or view the YouTube channel. Um, I hope that if you have any questions after my presentation, you can reach me at virginiaprodanbooks.com/contact, where I will be more than happy to answer your question to help you in any way possible. Um, so those are the 3 things that I want you to take into consideration to live faithfully and above your circumstances, your horrifying circumstances by faith now, and nourishing your future too in God's hands. Number one is you have to understand and you have to agree that God placed you here under those circumstances, and those circumstances are not a surprise for God. That might be a surprise for you, but not a surprise for God. When He placed you to be born in this country, to be born in your town, in your community, in your family, God knew that He has a reason for you. So the first thing is agree with God that God has a reason for your life, a reason for your actions, because He wants you to act based on what He already provided for you. And He will provide. I assure you that He will provide, open doors and make things in such a way that you will be successful in the mission that God is giving you. So I know that the culture, even the government, might tell you that you have no role. You have to submit in order to have a future with the government. But God said, I already provided a future for you, a bright future. So don't look at the circumstances. Look at God. Agree with Him that He is providing a role and a mission for you. And for that, in order to discover that mission and role, you have to look at the circumstances, you look at your skills, and you look at your talents. Let me share with you, I grew up in communist Romania. I watched my parents as a young child, maybe 6, 7 years old. I watched my parents being fearful being submissive to the government outside of home and trying to give the government everything that they ask for, like rights, to give them the rights in order to have a future with the government. But I also watch them inside of our home whispering how horrible the government was and how the government will take away from them other rights. So you can imagine, as a young kid, I realized that I don't belong to anyone. My parents are not courageous to stand up for me, and my government wants to submit me. So as I watched them being so fearful, I didn't want to live, to grow up and live like them. So I wanted to figure out why the adults in my life are so fearful, how to find the truth, because they knew the truth, but they were not strong enough to speak up the truth. I wanted to find out the truth and to speak up for the truth. When you read Saving My Assassin, you will find out at that time when I was a little kid, I thought that that was something that came from my cleverness. There was God's plan to show me my role and my mission. And the reason I am sharing that with you is because you can follow those steps like God helped me. Even though at that time I didn't know God, but God knew me and He guided me step by step to find the mission and the role. My mission and the role was to defend Christian and human rights cases. And God, using me as a tool in His hands, transformed Romania through me, using me from a socialist country to a capitalist country, back to freedom. So God can use you because that's the reason why He put your skills and talents in you. So He wants to use you for His glory, to use those skills for His glory and to change America, to change your community, to change you first, your family, your business, your community, and change America through you. You have such an amazing role in God's hands. Do not let the culture or anyone else tell you otherwise. Number two, God has you and your future in His hands. Your future and you are not in government's hands. God wants to implement a wonderful future for you and for your family and for America as you work together with Him as a co worker. Imagine, imagine that the God of the universe, the one who takes care of the whole universe, comes to you and me and say, let's be co-workers and transform the community, transform your family, transform your business and America and the world in a way that you see impossible now. Because with God, nothing is impossible. So your future, yourself, the future of America is not in government's hands, it is in God's hands. And you, with God, can do amazing things wherever He places you. So agree with God that together as co-workers, God can perform miracles in your life, can provide a wonderful transformation of your circumstances and your future. Our hope is in God, not in government, not in Republicans or Democrats, even though we want Christian people to lead our country and to lead America back to God and to Christian values. But our hope is in God. And the hope is not necessary in the government. You are the hope. I am the hope for America wherever God places us, and He wants to use us for His glory. So if you agree with God, go and do your job, be a co worker with God. And number three is this: in God's kingdom, there is no a spectator role. No. Everyone is an active co-worker with God to transform America and to nourish the future, your own future, your future of your business or your family, and the future of America. You fight now for you and for family's future. There is no role as a spectator, not popcorn and not a spectator role. In God's kingdom, in God's plan, we all have a wonderful role, a wonderful place and deeds to accomplish as co-workers with God. So refuse to be a spectator, believing that someone else will do the job. You are here because God has a job for you, and you are so uniquely equipped for that job that you will be amazed. Your life will never be the same. The biggest dream that you have for your life, it's nothing compared with what God creates for you. If you read Saving My Assassin, you will realize that how true is this in my life. I never imagined that when I said yes to God, to be a co-worker with him to change Romania, and now co-worker with him in America to change America, that he will transform my life. He will transform Romania and America in ways that I never imagined that would be possible, because with God nothing is impossible. What an honor and a privilege that the God of the universe wants us to be co-workers with him. So remember, in order to nourish your present and your future, first of all, you have to agree with God that you were created for a reason. You live right now wherever you live, and you have the skills and talents because God gave you to use you for His glory in order to change those impossible circumstances, to nourish them, transform them into something beyond your imagination, and to nourish your future and the future of America. Remember, number two, God has you and your future in His hands. You and your future are not in government's hands to have a future with the government. You already have a bright future with God. So go with God and be co-worker, that He will transform you. He will transform your circumstances, and He will transform your present and your future in amazing ways. Number three, remember, God did not create either one of us as spectators, but co workers with Him. People that will implement, will make the connection between faith and deeds. Faith without action is not faith. Remember, your faith is expressed in your deeds. Your fight now based on your faith and your deeds will reflect your faith, and with God you will accomplish and you will nourish your current situation, and you will nourish the future for you now and for generations to come. Remember, we have been living in America, and I have been watching you from Romania when I was in Romania, and now here in America as an American citizen for so many years. We have been bringing hope, freedom, and prosperity to people all over the world for so many years. It's time for us to bring freedom, hope, and prosperity and Christ back to America. It is our role, it's our time, it is our job to be co workers with God. May God bless you. I cannot wait to hear from you how God used you for His glory. If you need any help, go to virginiaprodanbooks.com/contact and write every need that you might have and in this process, nourishing the future, and we will help you. Until next time, God bless you. Bye bye.